Well, it's supposed to be nearly 100 degrees today in Ohio. And just like the temperature, the Ohio housing market is also cooked because home prices are at record levels in many areas of the Buckeye State, including right here in Columbus and Central Ohio, where the Columbus home price is now $362,000. That's the median sale price, folks, and it's an all-time record high. Now, if you are new to my channel, my name is Jason Ferrier. I am the housing nerd. And if you're tuning into this and you want to know what is happening in the Ohio housing market, whether you should buy a home, whether you should sell a home right now, maybe you're an investor, you came to the right channel. I am a realtor and investor in Central Ohio. I've been doing it now going on almost 8 years. And yeah, my channel is all about the Ohio housing market. I have a second channel called The Housing Nerd, and that's just about the national market. So I've got this channel, Ohio Housing Nerd. So if you want to know what's happening in the Ohio housing market, came to the right channel. Okay, let's get started right now. So what we'll do, and this is kind of my routine, I'm going to take a look at the Redfin update, the latest Redfin update. And then I'm going to, and this is a national update first. So I'm going to buzz through this as quick as possible. Then I'm going to dive into Ohio data. But I think it's important to keep your finger on what's happening nationally and kind of the narrative out there. In fact, this last week's Redfin article is called U.S. Home Prices Hit an All-Time High. But in the second half of this video, I'm doing just Ohio analysis. So I've got a lot of cities on the docket. I'm going to look at Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dayton, Toledo, Akron. I'm going to look at Delaware County. I've got some other counties that you all requested. So if you have a county you want me to analyze, put it in the comments below. And it's hot outside, so I apologize if I start sweating. All right. So the name of this article is U.S. home prices hit an all-time high. While the median home sale price is sitting at record high, it's notably lower than the median asking price. That's because sellers are open to negotiating in today's cooling housing market, in which sellers outnumber buyers. Remember, this is a national look. They basically say the U.S. median home sale price hit a record $396,000. Remember, here in Columbus, it's $362,000 in Central Ohio. I think Cleveland and Cincinnati are near record highs as well as far as record home prices. So the U.S. median sale price hit $396,000 during the 4 weeks ending June 15th, up 1% year over year. Prices are at an all-time high, even though it's spring. This spring's housing market is fairly cool because prices don't yet fully reflect the historic imbalance of sellers and buyers in today's market. Note that sale prices are seasonal and typically peak in June or July, and that price growth is cooling. The 1% year-over-year increase is in line with the last several weeks, but down from about 5% at the start of the year. So, basically, nationally, what we're looking at, folks, is you have a lot more sellers out there right now than buyers. You do, nationally. And in some areas of Ohio, that's also true. But I've received some comments. I'm going to show you some comments today on my channel from y'all who have already commented on the Ohio Housing Nerd, basically telling me, hey, there may be more inventory, but in my area, the inventory is inventory people don't want. So it's really doesn't count as inventory. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what happens with prices nationally and in Ohio. While the median sale price is at an all-time high, it's roughly $26,000 lower than the median asking price of $422,000. That's a 6% discount, is similar to that of the last several weeks, but marks a reversal from 2021 and 2022 when the median sale price was typically much higher than the median list price because the market favored sellers. So they're saying the gap between what people are asking and what people are getting for their homes is growing. That amount is growing. So people are asking more for their homes than people are willing to pay. And they're predicting that, hey, prices eventually are going to start to come down as we go through the year. But comment below if you're in Ohio. I'm sure you're watching this. Maybe if you're not in Ohio and you're watching this thinking of moving to Ohio, let me know if you think home prices in Ohio are going to come down anytime soon. I don't see any indication of that in most areas, with the exception of a few we'll look at today. Homes are selling for under asking price because there are many more sellers and buyers than buyers in today's market. That gives buyers the upper hand and allows them to negotiate prices down, though it's still difficult for many people to afford homes because costs are so high. New listings of homes for sale are up 4.4% year over year, and total listings are up 14.5%. Meanwhile, pending sales are down 1.5% year over year, and mortgage purchase applications are down 3% week over week. But we're talking nationally right now. Wait till we get into the Ohio data. You'll see that in some areas, pending sales are up year over year, not down. So Ohio is definitely bucking the trend as far as what you're seeing nationally. Home buying demand has been fairly weak this spring due to widespread economic uncertainty and high housing costs. In addition to sale prices sitting at an all-time high, the median monthly housing payment is just $53 shy of its own all-time high. And that's because of rates and prices, obviously. And this Redfin agent in looks like in Tulsa says, I'm explaining to sellers more and more that we need to be strategic in our pricing strategy because homes that are overpriced even slightly are likely to sit on the market and invite buyers to negotiate. Pricing is most important, but with fewer buyers than usual out there, sellers should also make sure their home is in excellent condition and be ready to make repairs upon inspection. There are a few exceptions. Homes in desirable locations that are in perfect conditions are still hot and typically sell at or above asking price. Had somebody on the channel comment just, I think, a couple days ago and say they tried to buy a house in Pickerington, right here in Central Ohio, and it was multiple offers. The home went over asking and they lost the opportunity to buy it, or they didn't win the bid. So people are still, sellers in some areas are still receiving multiple offers and they're getting over asking. I know I listed a house in Newark here in Central Ohio a few weeks ago. A home went over asking, had multiple offers, and it went into contract in a few days. The mismatch between supply and demand is likely to lead to a nationwide decline in home sale prices by the end of the year. Redfin is actually predicting a 1% decline approximately in home sale prices year over year by the end of this year. We'll see if that happens. All right, so leading indicators real quick. Daily average 30-year fixed mortgage rate right now, 6.87%. Let's see where it is right now. Whoops. I'm going to go to Mortgage News Daily and take a look. Where are we at today? You can see 6.86%. So it's not like homes are, and by the way, let me know how my audio is. If you're having any issues, let me know. So 6.86% compared to what? 6.87% in their article. So it's right there, right? Mortgage purchase applications, seasonally adjusted, down 3% from a week earlier. So 3% fewer people applying for mortgages versus last week nationally. I don't have this number for just Ohio. Maybe I can find that somehow, but that would probably be beneficial to y'all to just look at this data from a Ohio standpoint, but I don't have it on my fingertips. But we're up 14% year over year in mortgage purchase applications. So a lot of that could be because there's more homes out there to buy. Maybe not everywhere, but in a lot of areas, there's a lot more homes to purchase. So could be more people out there looking for homes and ready to buy. Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index, I don't put much stock in this thing, down 5% from a month earlier, up 1% year over year. That's kind of a dumb indicator, in my opinion. Touring activity, how many people are seeing homes right now, going through the house to tour it, up 36% from the start of the year. At this time of the year, it was up 28%. So we're up a little bit more compared to last year. Google searches for homes up 10% from a month earlier, but unchanged from last year. So people are basically looking for the same amount of homes right now, or the same number of people are up, putting into Google home for sale. So demand's up just a little bit, I guess, from last year if you look at mortgage purchase applications, but not a ton. Median sale price in the U.S., $396,500. We know that. That's an all-time high, by the way, nationally. Median asking price, that's $422,238. So that gap there is what they're talking about in the article. Median monthly mortgage payment, $2,800. Pending sales nationally, how many homes are going into contract? Down 1.5%. That's 87,000 pending sales going into contract. Houses going into contract. New listings, 102,784. That's up 4.4% year over year. The odd thing is, nationally, the only thing keeping inventory on the market is that either the inventory is not great inventory, probably homes that are too expensive, luxury homes, maybe priced wrong, or homes that need a ton of work. And it's the rates. Like if rates were to fall substantially, like by a point, I think you would see new listings drop. And I think you would see active listings drop. And I think you would see pending sales rise because people buy on payment. But let me know what you think. But that's what I see. People buy on payment. I'm not saying you should buy on payment. I'm saying people do buy on payment. So the rates right now are like, I think about it like they're hovering on a cliff, right? I mean, there are a lot of people out there in the U.S. who are in high-ranking positions that are doing everything they can to get interest rates down. Well, they haven't done everything they can yet, but they're about to. They're about to. They're not going to sit around and let these rates sit where they are right now. They're just not going to. And I don't know what that means. I don't know. People are like, Jason, what do you mean? They can't change interest rates. The government, the White House can't do that. Well, they're going to do anything they can do to get the 10-year Treasury down, to get the Federal Reserve or the Fed rate down. They just will, because they know that people buy on payment. And they also want to refinance their debt, right? As do a lot of other people, including me. Active listings, 1,160,000, only up 14.5%, smallest increase in 15 months nationally. And we're going to look at all this with markets in Ohio. Just bear with me. This is the national look. Months of supply, 4. How many? That's what we're looking at as far as months of supply. Share of homes off the market in 2 weeks or less, 37.2. Median days on market, 36. That's up 5 days. So homes are sitting longer. Share of homes sold above list price, 28.6, down from 32%. That delta is shrinking. We're shrinking on that. So I think you're going to see, as more homes hit the market, if prices come down at all, I think you will actually see the number of homes sold above list price rise. Average sale to list price ratio, buyers are getting about a 0.9% discount from the final list price. This is important to pay attention to if you're in Ohio, because this next part shows us the metros with the biggest, changes in key metrics. So when you look at median sale price, the areas that grew the most, Philadelphia, New Brunswick, Pittsburgh, Nassau County, New York, and New York City, they grew the most in median sale price. Where they dropped the most, Oakland, Jacksonville, Dallas, San Diego, Atlanta. Look at this pending sales, though. Look at this. Cincinnati up 5.2%, Chicago up 5%, Dallas up 4.1%, San Francisco up 4%, and Columbus up 4%. I mean, there are a lot of areas in Ohio where we're seeing more buyers now, more activity, because they're seeing more inventory. New listings, look at this. Warren, Michigan, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, and Indianapolis all have the most growth in new listings. And those are all kind of in the same area, right? Michigan, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, Indianapolis, kind of in that, Midwestern pocket. So homes, like new listings, are definitely rising in many metros, especially in the Midwest. Let me see if they say. No, they don't. Okay, now let me take some comments if I have any. I don't know if I do. There's a lot less pressure on this channel because there's not near as many people. Hey, Michaela, how are you? How you doing? I would love to see the stats on where these buyers are coming from, if they're native Ohioans or more out-of-state folks. That's a great question, Michaela. I don't have that. Excuse me. I don't have that on my fingertips. I wonder if I'd have to look at it. Let me. It's a great question. Let me just take a note on that and see if I can come up with it for a future video. Talking about migration, right? They have the stat in. I'm just taking a note. They have the stat in Redfin but it doesn't make any sense. I don't even want to show it to you because it's like, it just doesn't make sense. It has the same cities for everywhere in Ohio. Like in other words, if I look at where people are buying in Cleveland, how many people are moving from out of town, it's like the same information as if I look at Columbus or Cincinnati or Buckeye Lake or Newark. So it's not very helpful. But let me see if I can find it. Thank you. Great question. And it's good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Stay cool today. It's hot. All right. Let's do the data now for Ohio. So I'm going to start with the big cities of Ohio. That's where I start. And then I'll kind of work around. If you have an area of Ohio that you want me to review, put it in the comments. I'm happy to do it. So let me just, let me change the view on this real quick. So we'll start with Columbus. New listings in Columbus, Ohio. How many homes are actually being listed? Up 11.3%. Now, this is the metro area of Columbus, so it includes like the surrounding areas, the surrounding counties. That's how they do the metro area. I don't exactly know how far it extends out, but basically I call it Central Ohio. Yeah, up 11.3% in new listings. So nationally, we're only up 4.5%. New listings, we're up 11.3. So I'm sorry, Columbus, we're up 11.3. So more homes hitting the market in Columbus than nationally, no doubt. And you can see this line. I mean, there's a trend here is definitely increasing the number of listings. There's no doubt. No doubt. Seeing more homes on the market. Pending sales. 722, up 4%. So nationally, we're down 1.5% in pending sales. And Michaela's comment just now was, her question was, wait, where are all these people moving from? Or are they people migrating in or current people who live in Ohio buying, right? Because you've got pending sales up. That's basically a function of demand. And that's 722. How many new listings did we have? 793. So we added 793 new listings. We put 722 in contract. Not everything closes. So let's say 700 close out of that. You're left with 93 listings that are sticking as far as inventory. That's basically how I usually look at that. All right, it's pending sales. Now let's look at active listings and find out what's up with that. Active listings, how those doing? How many homes are actually on the market to buy? Up 22, call it 23%, 6,836. If I go back in time and look at 2023 at this time, we had 4,800 homes for sale in the Columbus area, Central Ohio, I guess. Now we've got 6,800 homes. So about 1,000 more homes, right? No, 2,000 more homes. It's a good amount. That's obviously a good difference. A big difference, I guess. And you can see here's the trend line for the growth of active listings. Definitely going up. Definitely going up. More and more people are listing their home for sale in the Columbus area. There's no doubt. Now, not every area of Ohio is like that. So I'll show you that in a minute. But yeah, active listings are definitely up. Let's look at months of supply. Months of supply for Columbus. 11.7 weeks is how they do it, which is under 3 months, right? 4 weeks in a month. So under 3 months of supply in Columbus basically means, hey, and it's been kind of going sideways. So it means that if we didn't sell any more homes, we didn't put any more homes on the market, how long would the current inventory last? 11.7 weeks. If you've got under, call it 5 months of supply or under 4 months of supply, it's really still a seller's market. So I would say in Columbus, the Columbus area, it's still really a seller's market. It is. But there are some deals out there because homes have been sitting longer overall. But the good ones go quick. The move-in ready properties in good areas that are priced right, those move quick still. So, by the way, if you're a home flipper in Central Ohio, or you're an investor and you want to flip a house, or you're in the, that's kind of your game, I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know, but you should be flipping at the median price. Like, there are homes here where I live in the area that are way overpriced and they're flips. And man, those homes sit on the market for like a year and a half sometimes. And you got to wonder, what, what investment strategy is that? Like, they must have buckets of cash just laying around, or have an incentive to leave it on the market because they purposely flip a home that's going to have to be priced way over the median price. Doesn't work. Got to flip it under the median, at least. Anyway, that's weeks of supply or months of supply. All right, enough commentary. People get upset when I do that too much. Let's look at median sale price now. Yeah, look at this median sale price in Columbus, $362. What? All-time high. Like, I can't, it's ridiculous. I thought at this point here, you go back in time, $336,000 back in April, that there was a downward trend there, a downward trend for median sale price. But then it just went, nah, that's fine. We're just going to keep going. Crazy. Like, we're more expensive than like Dallas or Houston right now, I think. And it doesn't show a sign of slowing down now. And it's kind of discouraging. Homes are just, for the locals, they're just priced off the map here. But people moving in, it's like, that's cheap for a lot of areas. Okay, that's median sale price. Now let's do real quick. Let's do new listing median sale price. So this is the asking price. $376. Not that big of a gap, but it is up 7.76% year over year. What was the median sale price up? Up 3%. Median sale price is up 3%. New listing median sale price. In other words, when a house hits the market, what's that new listing price? The median price. The one in the middle, right? That's median. 376, up nearly 8%. Wow. So sellers are like, nah, we're going to keep going here. How high can we go? All right, let me look at, I don't even know if there's a point to look at this one. Average sale to list price ratio. This is a 4-year low on that, meaning the discount that buyers are getting from sellers in Central Ohio is the biggest discount that they've received. However, in the last 4 years, but it's still over 100%. It's still over 100%. Like, in other words, right now it's 100, basically 100% that sellers are getting that final list price. Look at it back in 2022, though. Sit on that for a minute. Up 1.5, I'm sorry, 105%, not up 105%. It's 105% back then. So on average, buyers were paying 105% of the final list price back in 2022. Now they're still paying over 100%, but it's a 4-year low. That tells you how, I guess, unhealthy, unhinged the market is. And if you're in real estate, if you're a realtor, you know it's unhealthy. I mean, I'm sure there are realtors that are like, yeah, cheerleading, going, yeah, this is great for me. But it's not good for the market. But comment and tell me what you think if you're in Ohio, if you think this is good for the market. I don't. Crazy. All right. So that's Columbus. Let me do Cleveland. If you got a metro you want me to look at in Ohio, put it in the comments. We'll look at it. New listings in Cleveland. What do we got? 10% up year over year. Good. 718 new listings. We need that. Pending sales. They're up 2.9. So people are buying, people are selling in Cleveland and Columbus so far. Kind of it's picking up a little bit. Probably because there's more inventory out there. Active listings up 8.7%. Good. We need more active listings in Cleveland. Got to have more. Hopefully they're good homes. I don't know if they are or not. Somebody have to tell me from Cleveland. Again, this is the Cleveland metro area, right? So kind of encompasses Cleveland and surrounding counties. But I can do an individual county if you want. Just let me know. Median sale price. Let's do median sale price. Look at this. All-time high in Cleveland, too. 254 up 4% year over year. I mean, it's nuts. The prices in Ohio are just unhinged. Wow. It doesn't show. It's not like it's there's no trend line down. It's just up and up and up. You're probably saying if you're looking for a home in Cleveland, you're probably like, that doesn't even do it. 254, I can't find anything for that. Crazy. Let's do new listing. Whoop, that's price per square foot. We don't want that. New listing median price. That's what we want. What? Up 11%. But that's actually under 264,950. What's median sale price? Yeah, it's only $10,000 difference. That's what Redfin was pointing to in their article, that the median asking price is like way over the median sale price. And it is over in Columbus and Cleveland, but that's not slowing home prices down. That narrative's a little strange to me. I don't agree with Redfin there. That Delta is telling us that prices are going to come down. I'm not sure I believe that. But that's Redfin. All right, let's look at months of supply. Weeks of supply, 9.6. So that's like not even 3 months of supply. Which basically means that it's complete seller's market still, generally speaking. Median days on market. Let's look at that. 20 days. How long homes are sitting on the market? 20 days. It's up 4 days. It's an all-time high. So homes are sitting on the market longer in Cleveland compared to last year, but it's still a seller's market, folks. Overall in Ohio. All right, let's look at Cincinnati. New listings in Cincinnati. What do we got? Nasty Natty. I like Cincinnati, though. 13.7% in new listings. So all the major metros so far in Ohio have more new listings than last year. That's good. Got to have more new listings. Hopefully that continues. Pending sales, 5.2%. So people are buying in the major areas of Ohio. Again, probably because there's more active inventory, right? That helps. Active inventory. What do we got? In Cincinnati. 13.7. Increase. 6,100 listings. It's not an all-time high, but a 4-year high. I mean, look back in Cincinnati in 2023, we had 3,100 listings. Now 6,100. Wow. 3,000 more homes to choose from. I think that's why you're seeing pending sales increase, because people are like, oh, there's more homes to choose from. Maybe some discounts out there in select areas. I did have somebody comment from Hamilton County saying that they're noticing homes are sitting on the market longer. I don't know exactly what price point they're talking about, but that's encouraging to hear that. At least it's not every home is going lightning quick. Let's do median sale price now. Oh, look at this. Is it an all-time high? $306,000. It's an all-time high still, even though it went down week over week. $306,000 in Cincinnati, still an all-time high. Not really up much, up basically, it was basically flat, up just a fraction from last year. But Cincinnati's an all-time high. So you got Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Columbus, record home prices right now. Unbelievable. Crazy. Let's look at new listing median price, see where that is. Yeah, look at this. $328,000, up 8%. So the delta there was what? $22,000? So sellers still haven't got the memo in these cities that, hey, there's more inventory out there. Although, look, if you can sell your home for a certain price, I mean, I haven't really met many sellers that are like, you know what, I could probably get this for the home, but I'm going to be nice to the market and discount it. Sellers don't operate that way. I mean, there are sellers that are reasonable and they're like, I don't want to gouge anybody and I don't want the home to sit. So I want to price it fairly, which is good. So it moves. But sellers are going to continue to get as much as they can normally until the market tells them you're not going to. And then they'll either leave it on the market at that price, realize they have to discount it, take it off the market. Those are literally the options, right? You can't, if the market's not going to give it to you, you're not going to get it. If the market gives it to you, you're going to take it. That's how it works. Wow. Okay. Let's look at the next metro here. I had somebody call me out and say I don't look at Dayton ever. So we're going to look at Dayton. Dayton, Ohio. Here you go. 5.6% up year over year in new listings. So just like the other areas, more homes for sale. I'm sorry, more homes hitting the market. Pending sales. How many homes going into contract in Dayton? 6.5% increase year over year, 282 units or homes. Let's look at active listings. Active listings, 11% up year over year. 2,000 active listings. Back in 2023, you had 1,400 active listings. So 600 more, but obviously a big difference when you're talking about 2,000 listings. So you do have 11% more homes out there to choose from. That may be why you're seeing pending sales increase, just like the other areas. Let's look at months of supply. This is weird. This is a weird chart. 9.2. Wonder what caused this right here. I don't know. I'm not sure. Not sure we should look at that. That just makes me think that the chart is messed up. But right now they're saying 9.2 weeks of supply. Basically, that's what? A little over two months of supply. That's it. Active listings. What do I need to do next? Median price, right? What do I got? Median sale price. Look, a record high. $252,000 in Dayton, up 8%. Man, so far, every area that we've looked at, it's a record high price. I mean, I'm not even sure that, it could be happening in other areas of the U.S. It'd be stupid for me to say that it's not, but I look at a lot of markets and it's unique, I think, to have all these metros hitting their record high prices. Kind of good for headlines, not good if you're a home buyer, and not good for the market. What a shame. Okay, that is median sale price. Now let's do new listing median sale price. Look at that. $260,000, up 12%. Sellers are just like, nah, I'm going to keep asking more and more in Dayton. More and more and more. There's not even a point to even look at like the average sale to list price ratio, right? I guess we can now that I mentioned it, but what's the point? Okay, it's 99%. Basically, people are getting, sellers are getting 99% of the final list price. It's a 4-year low. So just like Columbus and some other areas we looked at, people, sellers are getting what they're asking for homes basically or more. And it's the lowest it's been in 4 years. Where was it back in 2022? 102%. Not as bad as Columbus at 105. But still, back then it was a given that you were going to get more on your house if you listed it. It was just a given. I remember listing homes back then and going, well, this price doesn't make sense. And the seller's like, no, I think I can get that. And I'm like, well, the comp showed this. And there weren't many sales. So it was hard to find comps. But I would try to be a little cautious on the sale price. We'd list the home and you would go over what the person thought they could get for it. And I just scratched my head like, what in the world? All right, let's do the next city. I had somebody ask, let me do Akron. Akron, Ohio. A lot of people, oops, sorry about that. A lot of people on from Akron. A lot of people on my channel and on the regular Housing Nerd channel from Akron. New listings in Akron up 15%. But look at this. Back in 2022, they had 285 listings hit the market. Right now, 233. So it's not an all-time high as far as new listings go, but you are up 15%. What about pending sales? Up as well, up 11.9%. Got a big siren going on behind me. Fire outside or fire somewhere. Just like the Ohio housing market. On fire, on fire, on fire. 11, I mean, it's crazy. Pending sales up double digits in Akron. When people are buying homes in Akron, they are, obviously. Okay, let's do active listings. Up 18% year over year. 1,421. But back in 2022, you were growing a lot more in active listings. Kind of different than the other areas we've been looking at. But you are up 18% in active listings. But you've got pending sales up double digits. Right? Yeah, you got pending sales up double digits. You've got new listings up double digits. Not surprising to see active listings growing, but they would grow a lot more if people weren't buying. People are obviously buying. Again, if interest rates come down, I don't think it's going to be healthy for the housing market. There are folks out there like Melody Wright, Travis at Real Estate Mindset come to mind. You should watch their channels. Definitely watch them because they provide good data, good perspective. But they have this theory that it's going to increase listings and decrease sales and decrease prices if interest rates drop. But you tell me what you think. I think if interest rates drop, I mean, if they drop like a couple basis points, that's not going to change much. But if they drop a whole percentage point, that would change a lot. I think buyers would be more active, and I think they'd be willing to pay more. But let me know what you think. Let's see. That's new listings. Now let's do median home price, median sale price. What do we got in Akron? Oh my gosh, is that an all-time high as well? 247, 249, all-time high in Akron. So Akron, Dayton, Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, all-time highs with median sale price. And it's just going up. It's just going up. New listing median price. Up 7.157%. I'm sorry, up 7%. 249,900. What people are asking. So what are people getting? 249, and people are asking 249. Huh? It's basically the same price, approximately, as the sale price. That's different than a lot of other areas. So does that mean the median sale price will stall out at some point soon? Maybe. But still, it's so high. Who cares, right? I mean, it's not even remotely normal. I mean, look back. I didn't do this in the other metros. Maybe I should have, but look back like in 2022. Well, we'll just use the same time of year. Back in 2022, the median sale price in Akron was $205,000. Now, $249,000. And that's as far as I can go back on this data. But I wouldn't be shocked if it was, in the mid 100s. It was back here. Look at this. 158,000. Back in February of 2022. $158,000. Now, $249,000. That's a different time of year. February's slower. But the price growth is ridiculous. The price growth is ridiculous. All right, that's Akron. Let's do, I need to do Toledo. Did I do Toledo? I didn't do Toledo, did I? No, I didn't do Toledo. Toledo is next. New listings in Toledo. Look at that. The first one we've looked at today where new listings are down. So Toledo has fewer new listings than this time last year, 14% fewer. All right. That's not good if you're trying to buy a home there. At least give me, if prices are going up, at least give me some homes to choose from, right? Pending sales up 8%. So people are buying. What did new listings do before this, though? Oh, yeah. Look at new listings before this in Toledo. Like at the beginning of the year, they were going up big time. Like you had, an upward trajectory. Then they stopped. People stopped listing their homes for some reason in Toledo. I don't know why, but they did all of a sudden. And they've been listing fewer and fewer every week. And then now you've got pending sales now that have been going up. So I got to think active listings may be up year over year, but it's probably showing decline now. Yeah, look at that. Active listings in Toledo. How many homes are on the market? 1,812. That's up 9.85% year over year. And I'm going to get to your comments here in a minute. I will dive into them after I'm done with Toledo. And then I'll look at more markets in Ohio. So you can just tell that because new listings trailed off, pending sales have continued to go up, you've got active listings now starting to head down. They're still up 9%, call it 10%. But this is what I fear. If pending sales for some reason and demand comes back into the housing market, we have more active listings, but overall in many areas, but including the United States, but not a ton more. Like historically, not a ton more. So because of that, if demand comes running back in, active listings will take a beating. And then you have fewer options, and then you have prices going up again or continuing to go up if you're in Ohio. Good gracious. All right, that's let's look at median sale price. Look at this. Every area we've looked at so far, every single area up to a record high price, $231 in Toledo. And somebody commented and said on my channel and said, hey, they're in Toledo, and if you want a decent home, it's $350, not $230. And that makes sense. This is a median, not, a home maybe you're looking at. But yeah, prices are just unhinged. Record home price. So all metros so far in Ohio have record home prices. Wow. What about listing price? Okay. Well, that's only up 1.48% at 215. So what was the median price again? 230. Yeah, 231. So the listing price is actually lower than the sale price. This means and tells me that at some point, home prices have to start to come down there. Or it could be a bunch of homes that need a ton of work are being listed. And that's why the median list price is lower. But the ones that people want to buy are the higher priced homes or homes that are remodeled. Could be the case as well. Like homes that are maybe gutted or need a roof, right? And a foundation and windows and, $100K in work. Those may be sitting and they're priced lower. And they're not selling. That could be the factor. The fact is that borrowing money now is expensive comparatively to recent history. Not comparatively to the history of the United States, but comparatively to recent history. Borrowing money to rehab things, if you're a flipper or an investor, is not cheap. I mean, it's easily into the double digits. And because of that, a lot of investors are like, no, thanks. I don't want a full rehab right now. But wow. All right, let's look at average sale to list price ratio. Over 100%, just like the other areas we looked at. Unreal. Okay, so that's Toledo. Let me look at my list real quick and see what other things people wanted. I got Dayton. I did that one. I did Toledo. I've got some others on here from the comments on my last video, but let me look at some comments now that y'all have and see if you have an area you want me to look at. Oh, there's Michaela again. They refuse to make any price changes and it sits vacant forever. Seen a home with no price changes sit on the market for months makes people nervous to even want to see it. Yeah, I agree. I don't know the strategy there. I mean, well, I do know what's going on. Maybe they don't have the room, but if they don't have the room to discount it, then how do they have the room to keep making the tax and insurance payment, right? But to your point, it's strange. I mean, those homes, if they're not making a price change and they're sitting on the market forever, that's where you maybe make a lowball offer, right? A disrespectful offer on the house. Like something where if a home's listed for 300, make the offer at 200. If anything, you'll get practice making offers, right? You may find somebody who comes back at like, this has happened, 275. Huh. They came from 300 to 275 after you went in at 200. Then you know you've got them, at least for a discount. But yeah, you're right. Knox, Muskingum, Coshocton counties or that area. Yeah, I'll definitely look at those. Thanks, Michaela. Let me mark that and I'll come back to that. What's up, Benton? I found a house in Delaware I really liked, called Realtor. She already had 24 offers on it by the first day. And where I live in Worthington area, houses go the first day still. Yeah, Worthington's it's a hot area. It is. Is this in Delaware City or Delaware County? I'm curious. 24 offers. Wow. And I'm curious, was that a new build? Was it a fixer-upper? And what was the price point? I'd love to know that, Ben. But thanks for that info. In my area, it's millennials who are paying the extremely high prices for these houses. Single women seem to buy most of them. They've got all the money, I guess. Maybe so. Maybe they have all the money. In my area, it's millennials who are paying the extremely high prices. Yeah. I went to I scheduled a showing for a client. This is a while ago, maybe 3-4 months ago. And it was in Delaware County. And it was a fixer-upper. And the house was like built in early 1900. And when I showed up to the showing, there were like 10 other people there looking to see it. Yeah. And, they were all younger home buyers looking for a home in Delaware. Wow. Yeah, I'd love to know more details of what you're seeing there, Ben. Sandusky County. You got it, Zane. I have heard many realtor ads on radio saying it has shifted to seller's market and now is time to buy. I think the coals of buyers will become stoked again as they give up on Fed lowering rates. You could be right, Zane. You could be right. They say it's shifted to a seller's market, or you mean buyer's market? And now is the time to buy. I don't know. Did you get your deal, by the way? Curious if you got your deal that you were talking about. I agree with you. I think if buyers get comfortable with the rates the way they are right now, and they're like, oh, they're not going to be lowering anytime soon, I guess now I might as well buy. That's possible. That is possible. That's creating more demand. It's also possible that more homes on the market means that buyers have more options, and so they're out there actually maybe putting in offers. Freckle face pups and stuff. Hello from overpriced Miami, Florida. Yeah, wow, that's a different market. It feels like Miami out here today, though. Thanks for checking in. Delaware City, Stratford Road, old, beautiful house. Needs work, but a beautiful private lot. Oh, yeah. A lot of nice, big, old homes in Delaware. And there's a lot of nice, big, old homes in central Ohio. Like you go to areas like Mount Vernon, Zanesville, Coshocton, Delaware, right? Columbus, obviously. But even Newark, there are homes in these little in these pockets of our area that are they're huge and beautiful. A lot of them need a lot of work, but I like those type of homes. Well, Benton, I would suggest looking at expired listings. There are expired listings out there. I'd look at that, and I would look at expired listings from like 2, 3, 4 years ago. Have your realtor pull those and take a look at them. And then do analysis on that specific area you want to buy in, like down to the street level if you have to, and go back on the MLS. You can go back 10 years or more. So go back 10 years, have your realtor pull that information and look at days on market, median sale price is fine, in the price point you want to buy in, new listings, how long it takes to sell a home, and then look at that trend and see if, when a home comes outside that trend, like days on market, if average is 40 days or 20 days, and you see something on the market for 25 days, that's when you can swoop in. In fact, I helped somebody buy a home in Gahanna, and that's how we did it. We found a home that was actually on the market longer than normal because it needed work, and we were able to get a discount. And no competition, which was nice. Sorry, buyer market. Right, Zane. Got it. Hopefully signing purchase agreement next couple of days. Older farmhouse on land that needs some work. Good for you. And it's a private seller, right? So well done. People have started loving old houses again instead of the McMansions. I've always loved old, beautiful homes. Me too. Thanks, guys. Thanks for and thanks for joining me today on the Ohio Housing Nerd. By the way, if you can and you're joining this, don't be a freeloader. All you gotta do is hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm supposed to say that, I guess, right? Okay, let's dive into this one. Knox, Muskingum, Coshocton, please. Got it, Michaela. Let's look at that. Let's look at Knox. So in this Redfin data, and this is the link for this is in my description, but you can come in and look at metro, like city level, or you can look at county level. Now, if you go to a small county with no transactions at all, like 10, or a city with no transactions, the data is going to be wonky. It's not going to work well. But in an area like even Knox County, you can still get some info. So new listings in Knox County are up 26% year over year. There are a lot more homes for sale in Knox County, no doubt. I know that market pretty well. Yeah, there are no doubt more homes for sale. Pending sales in Knox County down 37%, but there's only 20 listings. That's when the data does get a little wonky here, but because there's not that much data to look at. But they are down, because of the spike that they had back in 2024. But that's not, to me, that's not really indicative of the market. It would be probably up in pending sales if it wasn't for this spike last year. Let's look at active listings, though. This will tell us more. Yeah, look at active listings. I mean, they climbed big time in the spring. We were up 45%, now up 51% year over year in active inventory. A lot more homes for sale in Knox County. Now, a lot of those homes are homes that are overpriced, like for the Central Ohio buyer. Some of them are flips. I've noticed a lot of flips in this city of Mount Vernon where they're like in the high 200s, like 260, 270. And old homes that have been renovated and just overpriced for that buyer. And then there's a lot of homes outside of Mount Vernon, I've noticed, with acreage that are expensive. And so people are like, $600,000 home now, probably not my bag. All right, so that's active inventory. So definitely more homes for sale than last year. Let's look at median sale price. Well, this is all over the place, but $295,000. It's not an all-time high. We found our first one, but it's up, what's that? Up 4% year over year. So homes continue to be more expensive in Knox County. There's no doubt. And that's what I'm saying. Like $295 is the median price. If you have a home that's only like a 2-bed, 1-bath, 3-bed, 1-bath, and it's priced near 300 grand, going to be tough, right? I actually sold one recently or listed one that was priced like around, it was priced at 200 grand and it was in contract. I didn't even have time to put the sign in the yard. The sign didn't even go in the yard and somebody made an offer, but it was priced at, right at $200,000. Nothing blingy, nothing amazing, but renovated and ready to be moved into. And so that's a great way to, you're going to flip a home in Knox County or in Central Ohio, flip under the median and give the market what it needs, good affordable housing, nothing crazy. So there's not a need to put granite countertops in necessarily. There's not a need to redo the entire kitchen. If you can not do the entire kitchen, not do granite countertops, keep the price so that an affordable buyer can buy it, that's what the market needs. Save you time, save you money, get the home sold quicker. Can't beat that. All right. So that's median sale price. Let's look at new listing median sale price. What do we got there? 323. Yeah, so people on average, or the median price people are asking in Knox County, 323,000. Sale price just under 300 grand. Did I do pending sales? Yeah, I did pending sales. Okay, that's Knox County. Let me do Muskingum. I know Muskingum County pretty well too. Muskingum County. Some big homes in Muskingum County. Huge homes. Like in Zanesville, and they're all, like, a lot of them are out of stone. Not like brick, but stone. Huge stones. Huge stones. New listings in Muskingum County up 3.3%. Not that impressive. But let's look at active inventory, see what's been going on there. Wow, look at active inventory, up 41%. So both in Knox County and Muskingum County, many more homes for sale versus this time last year. Look at pending. What do we got with pending? Pending sales up 25% year over year. So people are buying and selling in Muskingum County, putting homes on the market. People are buying homes. Did we look at this? Forgive me. Yeah, active listings we looked at. Sometimes they run into each other. Median sale price. Is it an all-time high? No, not an all-time high by $2,000, but it's obviously gone up and down, as you can see. But now 231 grand for Muskingum County. Who would think Zanesville, Ohio, 231 median sale price, or Muskingum County, 231? Most people wouldn't think that a few years ago. I wouldn't have. Like, I remember before COVID, you could find a home in Newark, Muskingum County, Knox County. You could find a renovated, move-in ready home for like 130, 140 all day long. Not anymore. I could find a duplex to fix up. In Muskingum, I bought several duplexes for like $20,000 each before COVID. I mean, they needed everything. I mean, they needed 6 figures in work, but they were sitting there on the market. And so I even bought some off the MLS like that back then. Not anymore. 231. Wow. Okay. Let's do new listing median price. 243. So people are asking just a little more in Muskingum County than they're actually getting. I mean, the median list price is a little more, but it's not extraordinarily more than what people are actually paying for homes. But still, there are sellers that continue to list their home at a higher price versus last year. All right, that's Muskingum County. You want a Coshocton County is next. I can never spell this right. SH. Coshocton County. New listings in Coshocton County. That's another area where, man, I see some huge homes is Coshocton. 14.3% up in new listings year over year. Okay. About pending sales, what do we got? So more homes on the market, fewer people buying, down 4%. What's happened with active listings now? Active listings is down in Coshocton County. Wow. So would they have more new listings than last year, but not more active listings, and pending sales are down. So the market's kind of locked there still. Let's see. What about median sale price? Down. Wow, that's actually down. Down 1%, basically, or is that down 13? No, down 13%. They did have a big rise last year, so, and it's a small market, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's crashing there by any means. It is down. It's at 198. Last year was an all-time high at 233. But this happens a lot, this up and down when it's a small market. It does. So inventory in Coshocton may be a little tighter, probably really tight for good homes that are ready to move into or ones that don't need a ton of work. I have looked at a few recently there that are that need everything or need a lot of work, and they weren't priced right. So it's okay buying a fixer-upper. It just has to be priced correctly. All right. Let's do the next. Oh, well, let me look at new listing price, median listing price in Coshocton County, 25% up, $219,000. People are definitely asking more than what people are paying for homes overall in Coshocton County, but probably because there's not a lot of active inventory. Let me go back to this active inventory again. I'm just curious. Yeah, look at last year. Definitely had a trend upwards, right, in 2024. But then you started this year up 17%, but then went down and haven't recovered. My guess is it's just not a lot of new listings that are hitting that make sense for buyers. And remember, 80% of people who sell a home buy one. So people are like, well, where am I going to go? Right? To Newark? That's more expensive. To Columbus? No. There's not a lot of places to pivot to in Ohio and find a cheaper price or a better deal. Very difficult. Okay. Now we got Sandusky County from Zane. What's up, Zane? Let's do Sandusky County. Sandusky County. New listings. What do we got? 15.75 new listings, up 61% year over year. But with just 15 new listings, the year over year number is not that important. I would look at the trend, and the trend is up. More and more new listings. Pending sales. What do you got here? 12.2% year over year. And it's been trending up, I guess, overall. More people buying homes in Sandusky, Ohio. County, Ohio. Sandusky County, not the city of Sandusky. Let's look at actives. Active, 11.36 up year over year. That's 123 homes out there on the market. So you are up year over year. That's good. 2022, you had a lot more though. 148 homes. Now you only got 123, 20 homes, 25 homes. I guess that's not that much of a difference. But you are, I mean, let me look at the trend. Oh, okay. Well, the trend is showing you're actually going down as far as the growth of of active listings. So I would say there's a few more homes on the market in Sandusky County, but not a load more. It's not like there's exponentially more homes out there to choose from, at least not from this data. Let's look at median sale price. $173,000, up 13% year over year. Not an all-time high, thank goodness, but you did hit an all-time high this year at 209,000. Kind of just bouncing around sideways now. But you are up. You are up year over year, 13%. I wouldn't expect that to change much unless you get more new listings, more active listings are out there for people to buy from, right? That's what has to happen. New listing median sale price. What do we got? Look at that. When somebody lists a home, what's the median price? $221, up 31%. There's a big difference there. 50 grand. But again, people look at a price like this from maybe even from Columbus or Cincinnati or Cleveland, or especially like an area like Chicago, maybe Indianapolis, maybe, further out, Texas, California, New York. If they see home prices like this, a lot of people are starting to think, well, if I work from home, why not move to Sandusky County, Ohio, swoop up a house? I'll take 3, please. Right? At 221 or 200 or 173. Oh, I can buy like an estate for the price I pay for a house in New York or wherever, Chicago. It's now you're gonna pay a lot more property tax probably, unless that gets repealed. But yeah, I think that's what's happening in a lot of areas of Ohio. Michaela pointed that out. Like, where are these people buying from? Ohio, or are they from other states? Really good information to know. And I'll try to dig that up. Because people are buying homes in Ohio. Not a ton, but more than last year. All right, hope that helped. Let's see. What do we got? Shared that last video with all my family. I got plans to keep the convention going and property tax in Ohio. Oh, conversation going. Well, thank you. Thanks for sharing that, alien resident. Yeah, you're talking about property taxes. On my other channel, Housing Nerd, I've released 2 videos that have gone like parabolic with views. One's received like over 100,000, and the other one is quickly growing, about ending property tax. There's an amendment. If you don't know, there's a petition going around right now in Ohio to put it on the ballot in November. If it hits the ballot in November, the citizens of Ohio will have a chance to vote on that. And if they vote yes, then the amendment says that there'll be no property tax in Ohio. And if it happens in November and gets the green light, that means the officials have until January 1st to figure out how they're going to replace that revenue. That's probably the scariest part. Like if it doesn't get enough signatures and it doesn't get on the November but hits the May ballot of next year, then they've got from May until January of 2027 in order to figure it out, which maybe makes me feel a little better. Like, all right, well, they'll have some time to actually figure it out. I doubt they're going to let it go through in 2 months if it does hit the ballot this November. They're going to have to, like, if it passes, I doubt the legislators are going to, and the officials are just going to say, oh, we'll just figure this out in 30 days. No way. I don't think that'll happen. I think they're going to kick the can down the road and delay it. Kind of like the marijuana thing, right? Where it was passed, supposed to go into effect, and they're like, hang on, we got to figure all this out, even though it passed. But it's going to force a lot of people to figure it out. That's for sure. And by the way, I have no problem paying tax. I don't like paying tax on unrealized gain. But I have no problem paying tax or a bill. Like if they were to send me just a bill in the mail and say, this is what you owe for your school, your roads, your library, your zoo. Here's the breakdown. Here are the budgets. Well, okay, makes sense. But property tax on unrealized gain seems odd, but it's what everybody's been doing. Anyway, that's a property tax thing. Thank you for helping there, alien resident. The house my brother sold in 2020 is up for sale in Lucas. Oh, in Lucas County, that's Toledo, right? Is he asking a lot more than he paid for it? Just curious. You don't have to tell me. I'm just kind of curious. I noticed 4 houses I was watching for months all went pending like 2 weeks ago. Weird, it all happened in the same week. That's when mortgage purchase applications really spiked up. So I think there were a lot of people scared about the tariffs and financial unrest. And then after that kind of died off, right? Then people, I think, started going, okay, well, maybe that's not a thing. I can go ahead and buy a house. Maybe not. Ohio is turning into a super fun state. I don't know what that means, but maybe they are. Okay. Let me go back and look at some other markets here. I did have some other requests. I had Portage County. Portage County. Somebody requested that. Portage County, Ohio. And then I'm going to go back and do Licking County because that's kind of close to the Intel plant, or it is where the Intel plant is. I always look at Licking County too. New listings in Portage County, 39%. I'm sorry, 39 new listings, up 15%. Pending sales in Portage County, up 6.2%. More buyers, more sellers in the market, kind of stirring the pot. Active listings, 15% up, call it 16% year over year. More homes on the market too to buy. Median sale price, what's that doing? Not a record high, but climbing, $295,000, up 6% in Portage County. So it's no sign of slowing down there. The record was 311 back in November of last year. And then we got new listing median sale price, or new listing median price, up 7.87%, $306,000. So people are asking just a little more than what the median sale price is. Maybe some sellers have some reasonable expectations, I guess. Maybe. What is the median? Let's look at the median sale price. Yeah. Earlier this year, 305 for the median sale price. Now 295. The list price when homes hit the market, 329 was the peak earlier this year. Now 306. Wow. Yeah, homes are just expensive in Ohio comparatively. I'm sorry, for the locals, right? Compared to the rest of the country, no, not expensive. Under the median. All right, and let me see if I had one more area there. Youngstown. Youngstown, Ohio. Youngstown, Ohio. New listings in Youngstown. What do we got? Up 20%, 167. Pending sales, what do you got? 155, up 20% year over year. People buying, people selling there more so than last year. That's good. Help unstick the market. They have some price discovery. Up 20% in active listings. So everything's up there. People are buying, selling, and there are homes on the market. Median sale price is at an all-time high. 189 grand. Not an all-time high, but dang close to it. Last week, it was an all-time high. 193 grand last week in Youngstown. So the median sale price in Youngstown, they say $189,000. New listing. Where are people listing their homes at? 191,000, just a smidge over. So that's what's happening in Youngstown. Looks like more homes available. Prices looks like they haven't come down at all. But you do have more options as a home buyer. Not saying there are amazing options or there are tons of deals out there, but at least there are more homes for sale and more new listings, more movement in the market. The more people buy and sell properties, the more, hopefully, especially if we get more active inventory in some of these areas, you'll see prices start to stabilize because there's price discovery. versus when there's no sales, there's no way to discover what a good deal is because there's nothing selling. All right. Good. I did Boardman. Or not Boardman. I did Youngstown. Benton, what's up? Yeah, the unrealized gains. It's like they're taxing us on something we didn't sell and something we didn't buy. I'm all for abolishing property tax. 3 of my friends and I signed the petition in Delaware. Wow. Wow, that's great. Thanks, Benton. Thanks for letting me know that. Oh, your brother's house. Brother sold in 2020. City of Oregon. Oregon, Ohio. Neat. Lucas County. The new owners are already selling. The new owners no longer have any cars on property. I wondered if they walked from it. Huh. They're already selling. Yeah, hard to tell. I mean, but if it's 2020, if your brother sold in 2020, that house probably went up. I mean, well, let me look. Lucas County. What do we got? New listings are down 16% in Lucas County. Pending sales up 6.5%. So more buyers, but not more people listing. That's not a good recipe for prices coming down. Active listings, yeah, now starting to come down 9.3% up year over year, but starting to head down because there's not a lot of new listings. What's the median sale price? $198,000. Just shy of the all-time high at 200. So yeah, like if you said he sold in 2020, I don't have 2020 on here, but like back in 2022, at this time of year, prices were 156,000. Now 198,000. Now, I'm not saying that's where that home was priced at. Maybe it was priced higher or lower. Well, my point is they've grown a lot since then. So maybe the sellers were like, "Hey, we bought it 2020. Now our home's worth another $40,000. So let's sell." But maybe they couldn't afford it. Like you said, maybe they walked away. Hard to tell. But homes are definitely more expensive than 2020. That's for sure. Thanks for that. Thanks for that info. Okay. Well, I'll take one more comment here or a couple more. A neighbor near my parents disappeared after the tax reevaluation. Bought in 2023, Oregon. Took months for new neighbors to reoccupy. Disappeared after the tax reevaluation? Because they couldn't pay it? Is that why? I'm seeing a lot more foreclosures on taxes now than I have in the past. And the thing about taxes is that if you don't pay them, the penalties are incredibly high. And nobody really talks about that, but there are counties of Ohio. Oh, I have to do Licking County, by the way. But there are counties of Ohio that contract with a company called Tax Ease. TAXEASE, I think it is. Tax Ease. And they will buy properties and pay the tax lien for the county up front. They'll pay whatever taxes are owed. Then they take that property and then basically charge the homeowner 20, 30% interest on the taxes they owe. And they'll just keep tacking on taxes and penalties. And you can't go to your bank and say, I can't pay my taxes, so can I go on forbearance or something till I get a job or till I get more income? No. Taxes are like pay or leave. Taxes are no joke. Property taxes, arrears, if you're behind your property taxes, you will get hammered. There are properties I own that I forgot to pay the taxes on, like I literally missed it. And when I did, I ended up getting hammered with fees. There's a couple empty lots I own in cities where they're not worth anything. Little tiny empty lots. I forgot to pay the tax on it. It went like 4 or 5 months. The tax bill was only like $100 every 6 months. I ended up paying like $150 because of the fees. If you're a homeowner in Ohio, I'm sure you've seen that. Or what happens is your taxes go up, your property tax goes up, and then you don't realize that your escrow is increased. And then you get a call from your bank one day and your bank says, hey, you're late on your mortgage payment. And you're like, what do you mean? And they say, well, your taxes went up. So your payment went up by $40 or $100. And you only made this payment, so you're behind. And you're like, what? Because it's auto draft, right? You're not even thinking about it. You're just like, okay, well, it comes out every month. Nuts. Yeah, taxis. It sounds just horrible. Should be against the law. They're out of Texas. They're actually out of Texas. I did some research on them and kind of hard to find. But the county, I believe in Ohio, the counties can contract with individual agencies like that. But I do see auctions in my local county for properties that haven't paid their taxes. So I'm not sure how that comes into play exactly. Oops, I'll come back to you. Go. Good for you. Thanks, alien resident. The system is unsustainable. It is. Browus Porogus. Is that a tree or is that your name? I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Thank you for covering Dayton. You're welcome. You're welcome. Dayton and Cincinnati sometimes get combined into stats, and it's annoying because our economy is very different despite being tied up to each other. You're correct about that, and I apologize for missing it so many times, but it's on my hit list now for areas I'll cover on this channel. When I'm doing just the Housing Nerd Lives, I usually just cover the 3 major cities in Ohio, but on this channel, I'll definitely hit Dayton when I do the lives and do the updates. So you are welcome. And I'm going to come down there to Dayton. I got to get up to Toledo. Got to go over to Akron. I want to find out what's going on in those markets and kind of do a, video from the ground. Great. Thank you for reminding me to do it. All right. Well, I got to do Licking County. I said I would. I want to look at that. Licking County new listings. This is the county I live in. Home of the Intel plant, the monolith Intel plant, where they've now announced layoffs, I guess already. The plant's not even there. Up 7% new listings. Yeah, there are more new listings. Pending sales, how are those? Down 0.4%. Okay. Maybe there are some more active listings out there for folks, buyers. Active listings, look at this, soaring. 13, call it 14%, 625 active listings so far. Months of supply, 12.4. So that's what, a little over 3 months of supply. That's a 4-year high for this time of year, but still not enough active inventory. We got median sale price. How's that looking? $331. I never thought I would see it in Licking County. $331. Down what's that? Down 2%? Yeah, down 2% year over year. All-time high, though, we hit this year at $357. More expensive than Columbus at that time. Not now, but back earlier in the year, it was more expensive than Columbus. I couldn't believe it. Nuts. New listing median price. Where's that? Wow, that's elevated big time. $396, almost 400 Gs. What? Up 15%. So about a $50,000, $40,000 delta. No, that's not right. About a $70,000 delta between what people are asking and buyers are paying means there's just a lot of expensive homes out there listed. Again, and you have to have a reason to list your home high, right? Like if the other homes around you are comparable and everybody thinks their home is better than their neighbors. I don't. I'm realistic, but a lot of people do, and that's just, they're proud of their house, and so they list it too high sometimes. But this is also a factor of the fact that there are not a lot of great, affordable homes, move-in ready homes on the market. And when they do pop up, they go quick. They do. So if you're in Licking County, you're looking for a deal, or if you're in any of these areas, you got to be strategic. Look at off-market properties. Look at wholesalers. There are wholesalers out there that will sell contracts on homes. Now, you got to be really careful. There are a lot of little pitfalls. So use a lawyer, use a realtor to look at the deal. But look at a wholesale deal. Look at expired listings. The other thing I like to do is drive for dollars. That's how I find a lot of my opportunities. You drive around the market, look at homes that are kind of beat up a little bit maybe, or look abandoned, write down the address, and then look up the owner information on the county auditor website, because you can in Ohio. It's a disclosure state, so you can find the owner information and send them a letter and say, this is who I am. I'd like to talk to you about buying your property. And if you do that enough and you do it consistently, people will respond to those letters. They will respond to them. Not everybody responds. Some people tell you to leave them alone, or they get upset like, why did you send me this letter? My house isn't for sale. Okay, no problem. Take them off the list. But then you'll find somebody that's like, you know what? I've been thinking about selling, or I need to sell. And a lot of people would rather sell to you than me if you're a homeowner that's going to live in the house versus an investor. So if that's something that you're willing to do that work, that's how you can find an opportunity. Look at for sale by owner. The expired listing thing's big. Like, go back and look at expired listings from 2, 3, 4 years ago. And then be willing to make a lot of offers. Find a realtor who's willing to write offers that are under asking price, and just throw lines in the water and see what you can get. And be patient. For goodness sakes, be patient. Don't freak out if you see homes that are moving quickly. You can still be patient and make offers that make sense for you, not necessarily what the seller wants. But just be realistic too and go, all right, well, if I make 10 offers, maybe I'm only going to get one accepted. Maybe I'm only going to get one reply. Everybody else says, no, thanks, go away. Well, so what? Keep making offers. And the other thing is, I'd be willing to do some work on the home. Like, if it needs a new roof, don't be scared about that. If it needs a foundation repair, get a foundation contractor out there to look at it. If the home's sitting on the market and not moving because it needs a ton of work, then you like the home overall, you like the location, it's your setup, then take your time and have a contractor come out to look at it. There are tons of contractors that'll come out and look at your house for free, because they understand that you need a quote, and then you can start to understand how much things cost to repair too. It's kind of all education. More homes you look at, the better. So that's my tip. Unless something changes, Intel is a bust, and all the wildlife and trees they obliterated. That's the saddest part. How they ruin the area. So sad. Yeah. Two things. I agree, Benton. If you want to see a real example of a modern engineering marvel, then you owe it to yourself to drive over to the Intel facility that they're building in Licking County. Now, they put in trees around the facility with like a high bank. So soon you won't be able to see it. In fact, now it may be even more difficult because there's leaves on the trees. But I've been over there. I've done some videos on site, or not on site, but near it. And they used to be really cool about you going over there and looking because there wasn't much going on. And now they have a pretty big security force. But you owe it to yourself to get over there and look at that. At the same time, if you want to see what happens when you take a cornfield and farmland and just pillage it, like Benton is saying, that's also what you'll see. I've talked to people that live right on the property, right across the street, who have been there for like decades, right? And they had no intention of selling or moving. And now they are moving, obviously, because Intel's across the street. They told me that the amount of wildlife that infiltrated their property was insane. Snakes, foxes, tons of rabbits, tons of spiders, just critters, because the critters were all in the big fields. And then when the field is leveled and removed, then, now it's just concrete, they have to have somewhere to go, and they all come into like their property. However, that's the price to build something, right? Like there's a lot of people that are like, we need to get back to American manufacturing. This is my opinion. Not fact, just my opinion. There's a cost for that. You can't just create microchips out of thin air. So people are like, we need to have American manufacturing. Okay, here you go. Here's American manufacturing. Well, I don't like it here. Well, it has to go somewhere. Do I like it necessarily? Not really, but I also understand there's a cost for development. I mean, I'm very familiar with the area where it's built. It's like 10 minutes from where I live, literally 10 minutes. And it's increased everything, traffic, taxes. Will it get finished? I don't know. I hope it does, because if it doesn't, you hope it does not mothball. But they're building right now. And at night, if you drive through the area at night, it's like the Death Star. It's like a massive glow from all the cranes. I think there's 21 tower cranes there. Pretty crazy. Oh, look at this. Becca. What's up, Becca? Oh, fellow realtor. Cool. As a real estate agent in Dayton and the surrounding area, I can tell you things have slowed down. Active listings are up about 40% over June last year. The sold prices are up around 3%. Yeah, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing more active inventory. Yep. Prices are still up. I agree. They've slowed down as far as buyers, you mean? Is that what you're saying? I get that. Although, let me go back to the data here and look. And listen, because you know the area, so you have the best knowledge. But let me look at pending sales. Now this, Metro. Dayton, Ohio. What do we got for pending sales in Dayton? I mean, pending sales are up 6.5%. Now this is the Dayton metro area and this is according to Redfin, and this is a rolling average over the last 4 weeks. That's how they do that. So their pending sales are up a little bit compared to last year, but not a ton. And let me go back to active. I did this earlier, but let me just go back to active and look. Yeah, active listings up 11%, so more active inventory out there. And that median sale price, I believe, was a record high. Now, this is showing median sale price up 8%. But if you're looking at the MLS where you are, I'm not surprised that the numbers are different. But regardless, prices are up is what you're saying, and things are slower as far as pending sales. I'm showing they're up, but that doesn't mean anything. I mean, local data is the best. But thanks for chiming in, and thanks for watching, fellow realtor. The refinery has been cited for lead around 2020. I worked there during that time. Oil seeping from the ground in the area of my parents' neighborhood right before that explosion that killed 2. Yikes. Oh, yeah. Okay. You're up in the refinery area up there in Northwest Ohio. Yeah. Oil refineries are nothing to mess with. They can be dangerous. Lucas just failed air quality. Studies show relationships with pollution, crime. Just saying. Interesting. Poor critters. Just so sad. It's been hard for me to even think about it. The pitiful animals didn't want an Intel plant. Yeah, I understand. It really showed. You're over there. There's a farm that is active. It's a pork farm. And it is right next door to Intel. And there are cows. There's a video on my other channel, my Housing Nerd channel, that I took, where there are cows that are laying in the field, I guess. And right behind them is a fence. And then right behind that are the tower cranes. So this farm is active and it's still working right now. And the entrance for the farm is the entrance for the Intel construction plant. So it's a great lesson, a great reality of what real If you want American manufacturing to come back, this is the price of it. This is the price of it. So the people that say they want it, I'm not saying that's wrong to want it. I'm not saying it's right to want it. I'm just saying that this is what it really looks like. You see it on TV and go, hey, look, they're building a plant in Phoenix. They're building a plant in Oregon. Oh, look, Ohio was awarded a plant. Yay for us. But then when you're out there, you're like, huh. And then you talk to neighbors around the area who are very friendly, by the way. People around there are very, very easy to talk to. And I'm over there doing my little video and they're like, what are you doing? You know, you go and start talking to them. And you're like, oh boy, this isn't exactly what a lot of people think it is. So I agree. It can be sad. The sold homes are way down. Oh, okay. The number of sales you're saying in Dayton are way down. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Maybe they're going into contract and like not getting closed, right? Because I'm just showing pending. I'm not showing homes sold. That data isn't available till the monthly. It's available on the monthly report from Redfin, but not the weekly report, really. Our Dayton MLS data for sold homes is down 7% year to date compared to last year. Okay, year to date. Love your work. Oh, you're welcome. Or thank you. And I appreciate you watching, Becca. That's interesting. Down 7% year to date compared to last year. Huh. Well, that would mean that there's a lot more inventory, right? Got it. Are you actually, but your same prices are still up. So, are you seeing let me ask you this before I go. Becca, are you seeing more affordable homes are you seeing affordable homes on the market sit there and not move? Like they're just sitting there, that are like move-in ready in good areas? Or are those still like multiple offer situations? Is that what you're seeing? Are you seeing a lot of fixer-uppers? Is that why there's a lot more inventory? Before I go, just give me a little flavor there. Let me see if I get anything else. The fraud is in the system, and until it's removed, it will get worse. You pay with your hard work for printed money out of thin air. Yeah. So I understand that point about fraud in the system. And I'm not saying there's not fraud in the system, but I also don't think it'll ever be removed because they're humans. I would have to assume that from the history of from the beginning of the very first home that was built, like if it was in a cave somewhere or a hut or something, like when whoever it was built the very first house and then somebody else had a house and somebody else had a structure, there was somebody who had a better house than somebody else. There was somebody that fraudulently or somehow got the house or did something with the market and manipulated it. So my point is, I don't think fraud's ever going to be out of the system. I think it's always going to be part of our lives because humans are controlling it. And there's always somebody that doesn't like what's going on. I'm not saying the fraud is good and the greed and the corruption is good, but that's not going to be gone anytime soon. Will stuff change? Sure. Will things get better here? Great. Or will they? But I think if they get better here, then they get worse over here. I think it's just a balloon, right? Like if we remove property taxes from the system, and let's say we somehow clamp down on the budget and schools all of a sudden operate on 20% less income, and we fire a bunch of fraudulent people in the school system, like that money is going to, that cost is going to float somewhere. It just will, in my opinion. So I think you have to do the best you can do. You have to call out fraud when you see it, and you have to do what you can do by voting right. But at the end of the day, it's getting the fraud out of the school system, for instance. I don't know. I don't think that'll happen. So I think that's why Ohio, for me, it's interesting what they're doing with property taxes in Ohio versus Texas in particular. I listened to Travis and Mitch at Real Estate Mindset talk about this, and they've got like this plan and this scheme. It's not a scheme. It's a plan they have to remove the fraud out of the system in the school district, remove property taxes, but it seems like it's so convoluted, and then they're filing criminal complaints, and it's like, man, you've got all these balls in the air with this stuff. Ohio just said, you know what? We're going to remove property tax. That's it. We're not caring how you're going to replace the money. We're just going to remove it. And you're going to figure out the next step. To me, that's maybe the way to go. It's a lot more focused versus criminal complaints, trying to ferret out the fraud at the same time, the greed and the corruption, and then remove property tax and also repeal it with a uniform sales tax across the country. It's a lot to get done. A lot of ways you can trip up there versus just removing property tax and forcing people to deal with it. That's my opinion, though. And by the way, Mitch and Travis do a great job. I watch Travis's channel all the time. I really like him. His home buying course is fantastic. All right, let me find out what's up with Becca. Not too much with multiple offers, but move-in ready homes priced correctly in desirable areas will move. Right. The luxury market is a bit slower, and the price increases are found in the lower end home. Price increases are found in lower. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm seeing too. And this is the funny part. The Redfin put out that article that said, and a lot of people jumped on it. Even I did a video about it. A lot more sellers out there than buyers. And you've got people like, and this is my gripe with Melody Wright. She's not being honest with herself in looking at what inventory is hitting the market. Like you're saying, you're a realtor in Dayton. I don't know the Dayton market that well. You're saying that affordable homes are still moving fast. I've had people on here telling me affordable homes in Cincinnati are getting multiple offers. Well, if that's the case, that means we don't have a ton of inventory in that space. So I wish Melody Wright would break down what's actually happening with active inventory, because the lower priced affordable homes are still very hard to find. The luxury homes are sitting. Those are sitting. Those are getting price cuts. I'm seeing the same thing here. There are homes near me that are way overpriced. They're tiny. They're small, like under 2,000 square feet, and they're priced near $1 million. They're beautiful on the inside, but like price per square foot, they make no sense. No sense. And I think that's what you're seeing. You're seeing a lot of homes hit the market that don't make sense to buy. So this notion that there's a ton of inventory out there for everybody to grab, where is it? I don't see it. And then the 15 million vacant home narrative is like, where are these vacant homes? Where are they? That, by the way, people are willing to sell. Because if you're not willing to sell the home, is it inventory? No. If it's like a home somebody has on the market, not on the market, and they own it, they're not willing to sell it. How can you count that as inventory? You can't. And you can't force somebody to sell a home. They have every right to keep their home. My opinion. I'm kind of going on a rant. I apologize. In nice areas. Right, in nice areas. Anyway, Becca, thank you for the information. I apologize for the rant, folks. All right, I'm going to get out of here. It's like 2 hours now. Almost 2 hours. I thought I'd be on here for a half hour. It's hot. I'm going to get back inside into the wimpy air conditioning. But thank you for watching the Ohio Housing Nerd. If you want more info on the Ohio market, specifically the Central Ohio market, hit me up. My contact information is in the link below. And if I can help you in another area of the country with the housing market, let me know as well. I'm happy to do it. All right. Until next time, I'm the Housing Nerd, the Ohio Housing Nerd, and I'm out.